Blessings, my sisters and brothers, and welcome to the Law of One, conscious channeling of LL Research. We're going to continue speaking about the devotionally lived life, cooperating with destiny. How precious to us is the rest we gain when we trust that the challenges and trials we have in our daily lives are justly given us in order that we may learn as much as possible, but never too much. I can attest that once in a while we feel that we come right to the edge of it's all being too much. But whatever breakage we experience, we then eventually experience those times of healing that restore us. Meanwhile, we encourage our hearts to remain soft and vulnerable to the experience of difficulty. Yours is the last density with truly adverse conditions for the positive or service to others oriented person. Only in this density, the density of choice, does this occur. Know then that this which is in front of you is not more than you can work with, is not that which defeats you. You would not program that for yourselves, but you are stretching yourself because you wish to change. You wish to become even more polarized in love and service to the Creator and others than you are now. So, the idea is not to resist this suffering, but to become accepting of and transparent to it. The goal of the suffering seeker is not an end to suffering, but rather an increased or enhanced sense of the sanctity, the hallowed nature of these processes of learning, of changing, of evolving through experience. Each seeker chooses the degree to which it shall suffer as it resists or does not resist the beckoning call of its own destiny. Each is co-creator of that destiny. Each has chosen the classes it has in this school of incarnation. Therefore, all is well. Metaphysically speaking, whatever the suffering looks like, for it is simply a portion of experience allowed to be suffering through the resistance and fear of the changing that the learning creates. When the resistance to suffering is felt, there is a fear as if we are falling and must land well. However, ourselves are actually in a free fall, in the fool's leap of faith. And this is where the rhythms of destiny flow, in surrendering to the presence of the suffering. We are surrendering to the destiny that is flowing through us. When at last you do not mind free falling, you shall have arrived at a reasonably comfortable metaphysical stance from which to gain a somewhat more accurate view of the rhythmic beating of destiny. Blown by the winds of free will, that destiny has a surety, a sure-footedness that cannot be moved by decisions that turn you from one direction to another. You cannot go away from the right path for those lessons that you came to explore, those lessons of how to love and how to allow being loved are fluid and living, and they can move with you wherever you go. So, in the sense of making tragic errors, we ask you to be fearless. You cannot make a mistake, metaphysically speaking, for your lesson and your destiny shall follow you wherever you are moved to go. Yet to cooperate with that defined destiny is often to allow the little world to die away, that the greater self and the greater will might be presented more clearly. My brothers and sisters, since we cannot make a mistake in a metaphysical sense, we are free to consult and surrender to the will of the Creator for us, as we come to know it. Each person wishes for personal power, power to control, the power to shape the destiny, and this is your right, my friends. This is your obligation. Yet know that the first and greatest power is given to you in the act of surrender. For the heart that has surrendered can hear the song which will lead you. Those who close and stop their ears and demand that things be thus and so, will indeed hear a siren's song, and the manifestation of sorrow in the life of one who controls shall be more and more. There are the ones who are wayward and lost, for they cannot go home, yet they are not able to go forward. Surrender then and purify your ears to the song of life, that life which is beyond life and death. And so, how easy is it for us to drift into the making of plans? I do that often, and the more fool I am. But it is so tempting. It fills the pockets of the mind to make plans. But, metaphysically speaking, we are doing better to surrender fully to paying attention to the present moment. In the sense of accelerating the process of learning, it is well to work within the self to realize that there is a drift or tendency that can loosely be called destiny. And it is safe, we feel, to say that this destiny is a benign and helpful one, worthy of faith and trust, and to some extent able to be made visible by the seeker who is willing to listen and feel and intuit and truly, in each way that you can, simply pay attention. For as the way with the Creator is overwhelming, there are signs on every side, synchronicities and coincidences that mount up rapidly when one is paying attention. Now, not that it is ever easy to have the patience to surrender to paying attention. That is the price that seems often too dear. If you can trust destiny enough to release the attempts to control it, the natural waves of energy moving out from the center of that kindly, destiny, which is each seeker's will, gradually take that seeker upon the path and in the direction which is deeply desired. We do not need to tell you how difficult a practice it is to maintain the silence and listening receptivity to destiny in a world in which intangibles and invisible things are often given no worth or value at all. Yet this practice is most productive of peace of mind, and it is very efficient in its own way to keeping the seeker upon the path chosen before the incarnative experience. It is not that your life was predestined, but rather that certain things were chosen by you. Certain patterns were chosen by you in order to focus on certain lessons concerning love. The energy that has moved you through various stages of life have been an energy which feels natural impulses towards some lessons and complete indifference towards others. No one else has your path. No one else has your lessons. You need no one else's lessons. So each pilgrim that is walking upon this highway is walking alone in a very deep sense. We are alone in the sense that our learning is unique to each of us. Not in having learning to do. The Creator is very patient with the patterns of our lessons. If one relationship that teaches a certain lesson is ended before the pattern is complete, we will receive another such relationship so we can continue our observation on this point. There is no sense in ducking a perceived lesson. Try to follow these challenges through to the end, to honor them as well as exhaust the catalysts, and always consult the heart first, not the intellectual mind, when working with catalysts. The more you can remember who you are, the more easily shall you be able to find that center, that place of knowing that is the Holy of Holies within. That place where the Creator waits for you patiently, hoping that you may stop by. Open that door and tabernacle with the Most High. Feel that heart within you open as you think of love, and know that the most important thing you will ever do is find that place and live there. It matters not whether you follow your head or your heart. There are no mistakes. But if you wish to cooperate with destiny, you will consult your heart first. Resting in the open heart, we face the day and the catalysts of the day. The choices you work on making skillfully are choices in substance and quality of beingness. This beingness informs whatever choices are made. We are not in any way saying that it does not matter whether one makes choices. It truly does greatly matter. We simply wish you to grasp the thought that these choices are those which have to do with one's stance or attitude towards that which is facing it, rather than having to do with one situation chosen over another. There is a saying in this instrument's mind: you can run, but you cannot hide. The destiny which you skillfully offered your future incarnational self before this experience holds sway in the amphitheater of your brief existence in this one incarnational opportunity. You need not attempt to monkey overmuch with the tendencies or basic givens of your incarnation. What you are here to do is refine, and refine again and again, the choice of focus, of attitude with which it faces the present moment, which is designed to be just so. So, when we see old catalysts coming around again, it is tempting to tell the Creator that we have already learned this lesson. Please leave us alone. However, this answer will not satisfy that force of the Creator which brings us catalysts. If the winds have blown us this catalyst, then a review has been considered in order by a force which is following the preferences of our higher self for us. We need to trust that there is time enough to work with all catalysts until its rhythms are complete. Each of you falls headlong into a blazing white light, the white light of an infinite Creator whose very nature is love. You are falling unbelievably quickly, and you shall fuse and become one in your perception as you already are in reality with love itself. This is your destiny. And yet, speed is such a relative thing. None of you knows how quickly spiritual gravity pulls you towards that great center, that great unity. Each of you feels you cannot possibly be moving quickly enough. You need to know more. And so you draw yourself along, yet in reality, you could not hold yourself back if you tried. My brothers, my sisters, we need to realize, as part of the devotional life, that the right use of will with regards to approaching our learning in this density is not to use it to reach for our upcoming lessons, but to surrender it to the will of the guidance within, the forces of destiny and the Creator itself, in trust that we will receive all we need for our evolution of soul. It is the fundamental nature of third density entities to reach. Thousands of incarnations go by as each entity refines that for which it reaches, until finally, in one way or another, the entity begins to realize that much of the reaching cannot be done in any environment except the environment of the silent, seeking heart. You are creatures who have a memory which is buried deeply within you and is a portion of that which makes you alive, that you are a creature of a Creator, and that you have a destiny, an appointment towards which you move, quickly or slowly, to the Creator and to you. It has no meaning to be concerned about the length of your time that it may take to refine this instinctual sense of something more into a practice that ultimately makes immediate contact with the mystery which lies beyond all information. So, we need to be sure that we are not rushing ourselves metaphysically. that we are giving full respect to that which the moment has for us, regardless of how small or large that yield of the moment seems. Much opens to the more penetrating gaze at unpredictable moments out of nowhere. There are the strong trade winds of destiny, those that blow from forever. And there are the delightful, seasonal, unpredictable whims of spirit that offer the chance and change that marks the unique experience of being a conscious individual given the gift of free will. Metaphysically speaking, the dance between destiny and free will provides a way of thinking about those whims which affect the spontaneous, expressive self, that meaningful, substantive self to which that question about hurry up has reference. For the blurring of experience through rushing too much is not simply a physical phenomenon, but also a spiritual one. My sisters and brothers, what we ask for before incarnation is not to be happy or sad, idle or busy, although we hope to fulfill our dreams of service and learning. We really ask of ourselves only one thing: to experience as fully as possible the earth plane and our incarnations. To focus upon change is skillful for the one who works to accelerate the rate of spiritual evolution. But we greatly encourage each to couch this focus upon change within the larger picture in which you may see that there is a strong and substantial reason to trust and have perfect faith in your destiny. You have put yourself on this train. This trip is planned by you. You did not ask yourself to be happy or sad, to do well or to do poorly. Not at all. You asked yourself to experience this exact incarnation. This is your responsibility, to experience as fully as possible each moment. It's great to know if our responsibility is to experience life, then we are freed to rest in the plenty of the heart. The devotional life is built on this trust and this rest as we cooperate with destiny and live for the day and the moment with knowledge that we will learn and we will serve. And both opportunities will reliably come to us when we are ready. If an entity wishes to hear the voice of the Creator, to hear aloud the appropriate service described, it must wait for the rhythms of destiny to unfold in their spontaneous way. Nothing, including a surety of service, is intended for those within your plane of existence to hear and mark. Rather, the opportunity is instantaneous. And it is the entity who has surrendered all private desires to respond to the situation, not questioning whether it be one's service, but moving from a position of spiritual abundance and rest to trust in the spontaneous opportunity for service at the level of instinct. The appropriate meditation, then, upon the will of the one infinite creator is the trustful relaxation into apparent silence. Meditation. This is Robert once again. Thank you, my brothers and sisters, for joining me. Another conscious channeling session from LL Research and living the devotional life. Blessings. I love you.